This is a despicable and disgraceful event, but we're going to keep on and 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 on. And we know it. The authorities know it. Why don't we wait and see how they deal with it?
Let's ask the Daily Mail's Northern football correspondent Dominic King, because Dominic obviously witnessed a lot of it, and Dominic joins us live. Dominic, good morning. Trial by media, says Simon. What do you think?
I'm shaking my head, Jim. Simon, I'm going to have to vehemently disagree with
bloody
you.
Christmas if you don't.
Well, no. Look. It's it was a public interest to report that on Sunday night.
Agreed.
It was absolutely appalling, and it needed to be broadcast to everybody.
Agreed.
It needed to be. There's absolutely no trial by media here, Simon. I saw it. I saw everything from 3 o'clock on Wembley Way until midnight when I left. And walking down Wembley Way, it was like a war zone. It was like walking over a rubbish dump. And the people that were responsible for this brought shame on the good people that were there and had gone to enjoy themselves and have gone to try and make memories to last a lifetime.
And we all agree, Dominic. And we all agree with that. No one disputes that, but we're going on now, and we'll go on, and we'll go on, and we'll go on, and we'll go on for days and days and days and days.
I doubt that.
We're 3 days in.
Dominic, carry on.
So it's a huge deal, Simon. It was football's biggest night in this country for 55 years, and it was ruined. You might disagree with me. You might disagree with me about the length of time that it needs to be in the media. It has to be broadcast. It was appalling, Simon.
Agreed. And not at one point have I suggested that that's not the case. I have suggested that we are going to continue now to coin Jim's expression, to give it arms and legs, to keep on growing it. We're going to move into were stewards bribed, and was Harry Maguire's father's ribs crushed, and did the box where the players' families was sought out by fans.
What did you say?
What
did you say, Dominic, that you saw regarding players' families? What happened in that area?
Okay. So, Jim, do you want me to talk you through everything, or do you want me to be concise? Because I've seen so much, and it's. I want to try and paint a picture.
Be as concise as you can, Dom. But you know the drill. I mean, time's against us. But crack on.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, in Gate G, that's blocks 103 to 106. That's primarily where the players' families, players' guests, FAs from around the country. Yeah. That's where they were all sat. There was a gate at the. It was Gate G. Was smashed open when a disabled fan tried to get in, and thousands got in. Thousands got in onto stairwells. They took seats from players' families. They intimidated players' families. I spoke to a former player's wife who was there with her two daughters. She was terrified. The kids were really worried. I know other people who were there. Witness to it. I was shown videos of what had gone on. It was appalling. Now there was that many people have been affected. You're going to keep hearing stories for the next few days because there is so much. It's affected so many people that everybody has a viewpoint, and that is what it has to be.
Seeking, you shall find, I guess, Dominic. You keep on asking, and you'll find enough stories, I guess.
He's doing his job, but crack on, Dominic.
What do you mean seeking you will find?
Well, people have been coming to me, Simon. To follow, is it? You keep on inviting people to tell you your stories about their experiences. And by the way, Dominic, the headline in the Times was that these players' wives were sought out by these fans rather than these horrible, disgusting individuals that have broken upon a stadium have alighted upon the area where the players. It's almost as if the way that it was framed in the media was there was a plan by these fans to break in the stadium and go and terrorise the players' wives. No, they alighted upon them because they shouldn't have been there in the first place, i.e. the fans. So the framing of a discussion is something I disagree with. The sentiments and the ramping up and the consistent necessity to be able to egg it higher and higher.
I don't know where you get that from. I don't know where you get this idea of ramping up.
We've just played an influencer.
Ramping up.
And I'm embarrassed that I'm sat here listening to an influencer that can barely string a sentence together, and we're playing him on national radio and giving him the very thing that he should be denied.
He's got 1.3 million followers. That's why he's called an influencer.
And this is the reason why he's got 1.3 million followers, because we give him airtime.
Dominic, carry on. So what then did you see? You saw them swarming all over the players' family area.
So they were basically trying to get into any seats that they possibly could. Now, it's obviously opportunistic, Simon. I will agree with you on that. I don't believe that they knew the part of the area of the stadium
but
that
that's
they were going into.
That's not how it's framed in the media, though, is it, Dominic?
Well, hang on a second. No, hang on. You're asking me about my wits. I don't work for the Times. You've mentioned the Times to me there. I have nothing to do with the Times.
Well, I wasn't accusing you of the article, Dominic, was I? I was observing the media's reporting.
Right. Well, okay. Well,
which you're
semantics, but right. Well, anyway, let's get back to what I saw. So I did see people trying to. Stan Collymore was there. Stan Collymore was confronting the people who'd run in. You could tell them a mile off that they hadn't paid to get in. There were people fighting back and trying to get them out and trying to restore order. But the stewards were absolutely overwhelmed. There was no police in the vicinity. There was no... the reason it became out of control inside was because the stewards, who were being paid a pittance, some of them are volunteers, they were trying to make sure that nobody else got in from the outside. But meanwhile, inside, those who had got in were just having free reign.
Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, you say this has now become a trial by media. The Met Police, Dominic, in the last few moments have issued a statement. They're saying the scenes at Wembley before kick-off during the final were unacceptable. They say during the day and into the night, officers remained highly visible throughout the Wembley footprint, continued to prevent and respond to acts of disorder in support of stewards and security teams. And they say that policing plays an important role during large football events in order to reduce crime. Officers work closely with stewards and security officials who are responsible for security at stadiums. The minority, say the Met, who broke the law during this match, should be in no doubt that consequences will follow. Yeah. That's predictable enough, I would say. Dominic, would you agree?
It's predictable, Jim, but I would contest it. I would contest some of the things that they said there. I didn't see a high visible presence in the stadium. In fact, I didn't see anything until late into the game when about 30 or 40 officers walked past the Italian end, where the end of the stadium where the Italian fans were. I got to Wembley Way at 3:00. I got off the tube and I walked down, and it took about 20 minutes to walk through the mass of humanity. And the deeper and deeper I got down Wembley Way, the more febrile the atmosphere was coming, the more hostile, the more sinister. The beer cans were being thrown. I seen one young girl who was with a boyfriend. She got cracked on the back of the head by a can that had been flung from one side of the way to the other. You could see groups of lads flinging the cans at each other with more venom. So I got to there's a crossroads where a road intersects Wembley Way, and there was 2 police officers there, and I spoke to them and I said, officers, it's going to kick off down here. I said, just to make you aware. And they spoke to me and they pointed out that up on top of the Novotel that the police had, there was about 3 or 4 officers watching everything, seeing what was going on. So I assumed at that point that there would be more officers coming to provide support throughout the course of the day, because it was still 5 hours till kickoff at that point. But when at 5 o'clock, I seen the first 2 breaches of the cordon. And there was 1,000 fans easily scurrying up the stairs past stewards. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any policemen coming to try and provide assistance. It was all stewards. It was all head stewards. It was all men in blazers. And they had an impossible task, Jim. They had an absolutely impossible task.
Yes. I mean, I'm looking at messages that are coming in. Glenn in Leeds, Glenn is saying, nobody's condoning what happened. Of course we're not. It was terrible and should never be allowed to happen again. That is the point. Let's deal, he says, with the reasons why it happened and not keep pushing the media news, peddling the agenda again and again. You see, I was with you, Glenn, all the way until you get to that ridiculous pushing the media news agenda again and again.
So people are only allowed to have an opinion if it concurs with yours, Jim.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. And you know that. You know me well enough, Simon. I'm surprised at you.
In this discussion, you're being a little bit obtuse. But what I want to do, Dominic, is focus on your observations about the police. Because what you're effectively saying here is this statement that the police have put out is completely misrepresentative and disingenuous to the circumstances, because they are saying that they've policed this, they've been dedicated around the footprint of Wembley Stadium, and they have been a resource that understands its responsibilities and has policed this in their own view, I'm paraphrasing it, they have policed it properly, is a sort of overarching statement. But what you appear to be saying is, I saw no visibility of police.
Yeah.
I saw no police involved in key moments at times, and that's a direct contradiction to what the police are saying.
Simon, I'm on here. I'm speaking to you honestly.
Yeah.
I report faithfully. I'm telling you what I've seen. I didn't see enough police presence there. I just didn't. I understand that they've put their communication out this morning. It's taking them, what is it now? We nearly 72 hours after the event. So what do you make of that
as a journalist? I'm not disagreeing with you, Dominic, because you were there.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the police and saying, hold on, I think this is a fundamental failing and preparation. And I find it very curious because we're walking towards a stadium, and I don't disagree with you in the slightest that the atmosphere is hostile, and I don't understand why. We're about to watch or see one of the biggest events in this country, and we've got to look at the reasons why people are behaving in a hostile way. But the argument here is that the police are completely diametrically opposed to the view of journalists about their policing of this event. And we've got to understand, and this is where I'd like to see our energy focused, this is where I'd like to see our reporting go, about the fundamental breaches and failing of an event that's allowed this to happen, not the individual mutterings of moron influencers.
Listen,
Dominic and I are in agree with you about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying there, Simon, on that point. As I'm telling you, there was a lot of narrative put out on Sunday night that I couldn't understand. It was like Wembley, a Wembley spokesperson hurried a statement out at 8 o'clock saying there were no breaches and nobody got in. That's just absolutely wrong.
Well, it's absurd, isn't it?
What I don't understand is now that it seems like I have to be careful with how I say. People are being very careful and protecting their own reputation sometimes in terms of what they feel they have to say. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I think if you don't just take my word for it, just have a look at there are a lot of fair-minded people, a lot of people. There were thousands and thousands of fans.
I agree with you. I believe you.
Intentions.
I don't disbelieve what you're saying. I don't for one second suggest that you are not saying what you saw. But what I'm trying to get to is, okay, we've seen it, we know it, we've got it. It was bloody awful. Okay, where are we taking this now? And what is the best course of action for the best possible outcome? And I understand that the Woodward and Bernstein moment needs to happen, and that people need to be outed so that change can happen. But I just get concerned about the nature of reporting, the delectation or the delight and the deliciousness of how the media can fill paper after paper after paper, day after day after day. And there comes a point where we've got it, and I don't see the need for it. And I worry about the media reporting.
Let me just pick you up on that, Simon. Dominic, I take it you don't delight in having to report this kind of stuff, do you? Because I certainly don't delight in having to broadcast it.
Jim, can I tell you something? I started working in newspapers in 1998. My dream was to do an England event, see England in a major final and report on it. And I came back on Sunday night and yesterday and Monday feeling absolutely demoralised that the tone of everything was ruined by these people.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.